Hey guys, we're going to start working on subtraction today. We've been working on addition, which we know is putting numbers together, where you start with two smaller numbers, and when you put them together, you end up with a larger number. Well, subtraction is actually the opposite of addition. We start with a bigger number for subtraction, and we end up with a smaller number because when we subtract, we take things away. So addition is putting things together, and subtraction is taking things apart or taking it away. We're going to start by reading a story here called The Action of Subtraction. And it's going to help us to be able to complete our worksheet that we have today. And what these are, because it doesn't go over that in the book, we're going to stop as we read to demonstrate how to do this and what that has to do with subtraction. So these are called number bonds. And all that is just decomposing the number, taking it apart and breaking it into smaller parts. So we're taking the first number, which we're going to actually do this one together. So we're going to do 5 minus 1. I'm going to write it on my board here, so that way I don't have to write on the paper. 5 minus 1, and a number bond that looks like this. Oh, I didn't draw that exactly right. So we want to make sure that we can really see and understand what subtraction is. So because when we subtract, we start with the biggest number, we want that circle to be the biggest one. So I'm missing one thing on my board here, and that is the 5 paintbrushes. I'm just going to draw 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now my board looks just like your worksheet. Now, if I'm taking things away, the way that I'm going to do that is now I know that I have to take 1 away. And if I take 1 away from here, I'm going to cross off one of them. And I'm going to look at how many more do I have left. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 minus 1, taking it away, is 4. And I have to put that other number on our number bond. Now, this was the simplest way to do it, is to draw a picture and to cross it off. We could use our fingers as well. I could start with my first number, which was 5, and I'm going to take 1 finger away, and I'm left with 4. But our fingers aren't going to be enough when we have numbers that are larger than 10, because we know we have 5 fingers on one hand and 5 fingers on the other. If we put them together, that's 10. But what happens if I have a number that's bigger than 10? Then I won't be able to use my fingers. So I could use something like a drawing, or I could use my toys to count and make groups of that number and take them away and physically move them so I can see what's left. But you're not always going to have objects. If you're in the classroom, you will, and maybe at your house you might. But if you're in the grocery store or you're somewhere else and you don't have the time to get out and say, oh, wait, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out the subtraction problem. I want to go grab objects. You're not always going to have time for that. So your best bet is to practice with writing it out. And then eventually you'll memorize most of your subtraction facts. And you will continue to use subtraction for the rest of your life. So let's get started with our book here. And I'll stop and show you a couple more examples. I don't want to give you the answers to the worksheet, so I'm going to give you some examples from the book. And the book actually goes into bigger numbers than what your worksheet does. So if we can do the ones from the book, we'll have no problems doing the ones on our paper. So that means I'm going to be reading and stopping and reading and stopping throughout, because the answers are given in the book, and we don't want to find the answer before we solve it on our board together. And if we were in the classroom, it would be a lot more interactive because you would get to have your own manipulatives. You might work with a partner and you'd be able to solve this. But that's why you can use your manipulatives on here. And maybe even after you're finished these, challenge yourself and give yourself or have your parents give you some more subtraction problems, maybe with bigger numbers. But this is our first time doing subtraction all by ourselves, so I didn't want to overwhelm you and give you something with too big of numbers without having any help. And the point of these videos is to try and get you to do it all by yourself, so that way, if your parents aren't available to help you, you can still get your work done. So, The Action of Subtraction by Brian P. Cleary, illustrated by Brian Gable. Subtraction, taking one number away from another, resulting in less than what you started with. Subtraction is an action that will make your total less, whether ice cream scoops or hula hoops or inches from a dress. Whatever you are counting, it will take away a part and leave you with not as much as you had at the start. If 7 angry bulldogs are barking at your door, so we're going to do this one, a kitten could scare 3 away, and then you'd be left with, let's solve it. So our first number was 7. Then we're going to use the minus sign, which is just a short line across. The plus sign was like a little T. But we're only using the minus sign today, so we only need a small line across. And it was 7 angry bulldogs and 3 kittens scare them away. So 7 minus 3. And I'm going to draw my big circle. And then my small branches. And I'm going to draw 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines. I want to cross off the second number, which was 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to write the number that I've crossed off at the top. So 7 minus 3. And if we look at a number bond, we can almost say that every time this is going to be your minus, and this will be the answer. So 7 minus 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 minus 3 equals 4. Let's read to see if we are correct. And if we are, we should be, because we broke it down and crossed off all the pictures. Oops, upside down. If 7 angry bulldogs were barking at your door, a kitten could scare 3 away, then you'd be left with 4. And what if 13 hornets had nested in your tree? If 10 of them would just buzz off, let's see. This is the last one we're going to do together. Maybe we'll do one more after this. So this time I'm going to draw little circles as the bees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It was 13 minus 10. So I'm going to cross off 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm left with 3. So that's how we would solve that problem. And the book will confirm that we are correct. You then have only 3. So do you see what subtraction does? It changes the amount, so you'll wind up with fewer when you do your final count. Minus means to take away some number from the whole. Like if you had 10 bowling pins and grabbed a ball to roll. Let's say you knocked down 8 pins with the first ball that you threw. Then 2 would still be standing because 10 minus 8 is 2. And this is going to be, I was going to draw this one out, but I think that we can see it better with just looking at the picture. And This is going to be your assignment for tomorrow. You're going to play a bowling game that Miss Isela is going to show you exactly how to play on Dojo. She may be showing a video, or she might just show a picture of what she did. Your second ball knocks two more down. You did it. You're there. You're the hero. Sorry. Now all the pins are down because 2 minus 2 is 0. And if you're saying 2 minus 2 is 0, is another word in this sentence for equals. In this case, just like I said, in this case, is means equals or totals, just the same. That sign means matching value in a problem or a game. Like if you had 3 timeouts left and somehow you lost your shoe, your coach would have to call 1 and then you'd be left with 2. 3 was what you started with, then you subtracted 1. That would equal 2 more left before the game was done. If Jen had 12 stuffed animals and she gave 2 to Sally, then 5 more went to Mary Kate, here's how you do the tally. So this time they're actually going to be subtracting 3 numbers. Start with 12, take away 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. Then subtract the 5 from Mary Kate, and then that leaves 5 for Jen. Whenever you subtract things, it can make us sad or glad, depending on whatever there is less of, good or bad, like fewer days of school due to snow and less time with the dentist. Not as much discomfort since the doctor fixed your bent wrist. A smaller plate of vegetables, a shorter list of chores, less time with your homework, and not quite as many snores. See, the numbers move toward 0 with a shrinking kind of action. And all of this is possible because we have subtraction. So what is subtraction? Do you know? Subtraction, again, before I let you go, is starting with a bigger number and taking another number away and ending up with a smaller number. So again, subtraction, taking one number away from another, resulting in less than you started with. So I hope that you understand what you're supposed to do and that you enjoyed this book. This is one of my favorite math books to read. And there's all kinds of math books that you can read to help you understand different math concepts. So I hope that helped you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My office hours, again, are today from 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock. And you can have your parents send me a message and we can set up a Zoom call, because when I have smaller groups, it seems to work better. And so it can be just you and I and your parents in a group, or if other people are struggling as well, we can have a small group of students to work out any problems that we're having. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye.